Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Horror Master. And today, we're going to be talking about some theme parks after a very long wait from August. Now, I haven't talked about any theme park content on this channel since I went to Six Flags New England. And that's kind of because I ran out of things to talk about for theme parks. But today, since it just turned 2026 about 2 days ago, and it's January 2nd by the time I'm recording this, I have decided to make a video predicting what's going to happen to the Six Flags chain in 2026. Now, I'm not going to, mention, other parks. I'm only going to be talking about Six Flags and Cedar Fair there, because I think this year it's going to be most interesting for them. But just to quickly mention, Hershey Entertainment does own Kennywood now, which I think is incredible. And since I do feel like Kennywood will step up their game because of Hershey Entertainment, never been to Kennywood, but the park does look very interesting, so maybe someday I'd love to go there. Now, for Universal Orlando, it looks like they're doing some big expansions, and of course replacing Rip Ride Rocket, which did just close this year, which is very sad, because I've been to that park like 8 times and I never got a chance to ride it, because I was too little back then, so I'm very sad it closed. I wish I could have gone on it, but hey, at least we still have the Incredible Hulk and the new, Epic Universe. I feel like they are gonna do some big expansion for Epic Universe and stuff, and all that stuff. And Busch Gardens Tampa, I do think we'll get a Giga at some first. I do think they'll announce a Giga. They got a lot of room, and I do feel like they do desperately need a Giga. But that's just a quick few things I want to mention about other theme parks, because today we'll only be exclusively talking about Six Flags and Cedar Fair, because I feel like this year is going to be very interesting for them. Because Six Flags, it just got a new CEO, and I do think there will be many ups and many downs for Six Flags this year. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. In this video, I will be talking about, a couple of things that I think could happen to the whole chain, and then I will go over, each park one by one to see if they could get anything special, or what will happen to the park. So, for parks I'm not going to mention in this video, Michigan's Adventure I'm not mentioning. I don't think anything's going to happen to that park this year. Valley Fair, I don't think it's going to get anything new, but I did hear they have that park could close because they're doing something with the property, so I don't think Darien Lake is going to get anything new. Let's see, Worlds of Fun, no. Frontier City, no. Lawn, no. And that's about, I think that's about it. For the theme parks, I'm not really going to mention in this video outside of one segment, so stay tuned for that. Now, since I haven't been to too many of these parks, I could be wrong about some things. So you can correct me in the comments if you want. So, I'm going to be talking about a few things I think could happen to the whole company, and I'll talk about some things that could happen to the parks themselves. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. So the first thing I think will happen is I think Six Flags is going to step up their game in 2026. So, instead of us just being left confused like we were this year, since they got a new CEO now, I feel like they're really going to start taking into the action this year, announcing, what's going to be coming, what's going to be closing, and kind of, taking action for the rest of their future. I know Six Flags has been struggling the past couple of years. I think they're even on the. I'm not sure if they're on the verge of bankruptcy right now. I'm not really sure, but I heard they got a new CEO, and I heard the new CEO is really good. So I do have hope in them, and I feel like the first action they're gonna be taking is closing parks. I do think they will close at least 2 parks this year. One is always possible. I do feel like we will get announced of a few parks that will close. Now, for what parks will be closing, I'm not really sure. But, the parks I think will most likely be closing in the next couple of years, I think will be Frontier City, Valley Fair, Worlds of Fun, Darien Lake, Loron. I do feel like all those parks have a high chance of closing, just because, they're more. Six Flags is trying to focus on the bigger parks. So, I feel like they're gonna aim towards the parks that they haven't been investing in that much, and smaller parks overall. They're gonna obviously keep, Great Adventure, Magic Mountain, Cedar Point, all those big parks, but in terms of smaller parks, I do feel like the smaller parks are a bit more likely to close. And obviously, California's Great America's closing in 2027. Yeah. So that park's closing, and I do feel like they're gonna close a few parks. I do feel like they'll close about 3 parks or 2, and I do feel like for free parks, I'm gonna aim towards 3. The 3 parks that will close are Frontier City, Darien Lake, and Valley Fair. I feel like those will be the 3 most likely parks that will be closed. I think Lil Ron will stick around for a few more years, and then they could close it. I think, and I do think they will aim towards a few other parks. I think they want an even, I think they want a much smaller park lineup compared to what they have right now. So, I feel like they're only gonna keep the big parks that are making them tons of money, or at least have really good water parks. And, if you, want to see me predicting what parks will be closing, you can go check out, my Six Flags America video, but I do feel like those parks will be most likely to close in 2026, and then I feel like we'll get a few more announcements in 2027, and, yeah, in terms of parks, I'm, there's a few other parks I'm a little concerned about, I kind of I'm a little concerned about St. Louis, Six Flags St. Louis, Michigan's Adventure. I'm also a little concerned about. And Six Flags New England is kind of in the middle for me. I'm not sure if they're gonna close Six Flags New England in the next few years. I mean, I know they're getting a new coaster and stuff, Quantum Accelerator. But I just feel like the problem is that they don't really have good room in that park. If they're gonna build another new coaster, they gotta take down a coaster, else they have no space to do it. If they want to build a Giga, they can't do that. They would either have to close down Superman, or they would have to close down their water park they have over there. And I know Six Flags New England does really well. When I went to Six Flags New England, it was packed as shit. So I think that park does do well. I just am a little nervous for it because they can't do much with it compared to some of the other parks. And yeah, so Six Flags New England, I'm not sure about that park. And Worlds of Fun, I feel like that park could close as well, but I don't think it's gonna close this year. But the most popular parks I think are good. Great Adventure's good, Magic Mountain's good, Cedar Point's good, Kane's Island's good, Knott's Berry Farm is good. All the big parks are doing good. I think they're gonna stick around forever. The majority of parks that are making them tons and tons of money, I feel like those are the parks they're gonna be keeping. And that's why I'm a little more nervous for the smaller parks, not gonna lie. However, despite me personally being concerned that more parks will close, I do feel like Six Flags trending upwards. Six Flags is just gonna be much better in 2026 as a whole. Everything's due to their presidential stay, and everything's gonna be planned under one website, one app now. Less confusion. I feel like the whole schedule and the positioning will be much better in 2026. And they're gonna invest a lot more money into the parks. They're at least keeping I obviously don't think they're gonna invest into the parks that are not gonna be that aren't making them as much money. But in terms of the parks that are making them a lot of money, I do feel like they will invest into the parks a lot more. There will be a lot less abandoned parks, and what I mean by abandoned parks is just parks that aren't getting anything new. So I feel like they're going to spend a lot more money on keeping the parks as good as they can, and have more people keep coming, because I know they have a lot of competition and stuff. So I feel like they're going to do anything they can to make the parks as best as possible. And that's why I think Six Flags is going to have a much better 2026 compared to the last few years they have been having. They just also recently opened their brand new Six Flags park, Six Flags Qiddiya City. And even though I'm never going there, I am not going to Saudi Arabia to go to Six Flags. I do not want to go there, but the park itself looks like they put a lot of money into it. The new Falcon's Flight looks awesome as shit. I actually wish that was the replacement for Kingda Con. I should have made that the replacement, but that's just me dreaming, you know? Like, obviously, there's a 0% chance they're gonna do that. And I'll get into the Six Flags I will get into Six Flags Great Adventure World later on in this video, because I have a lot to talk about for that park. But Six Flags Qiddiya City, now they got a new whole park open now, a great CEO. I think they're in a pretty good position. They're a lot more organized, and I do think Six Flags is going to have a much better 2026. So, that's my theory. But now I want to talk about the parks, it's themselves. So I'm going to go over some of the parks and see what I think could happen to them. So, I'm going to start off with my local park and just kind of go slowly farther from my, city. So, my local park is Six Flags Great Escape. Six Flags Great Escape, I don't think they're going to do anything to it this year. I don't think, like, they just added Bobcat, so I don't think this year's going to be crazy for Six Flags Great Escape. The park, like, barely gets any updates as it is, so I mean, maybe they could announce that they're closing some coaster, like Canyon Blaster or Steam Demon, but I think if that stuff will start happening in a few years, I don't think the park has any chance of closing. Their water park does really well, so I don't think, even though Great Escape is a smaller park, it is a family park at the end of the day, so it's not like Darien Lake where it's just like a park that ain't making them money. Great Escape makes a decent amount of money, so I feel like they will keep Great Escape, and besides, they do need a family park, so, despite them being a thrill company, so so I don't think Great Escape will close, like, anytime soon. Maybe in, like, the next few decades, but if we're talking 2026 here, I feel like parks like Darien Lake or Laurent or Frontier City have much higher chances of closing than Great Escape. But besides that, I don't feel like Great Escape will get any updates, or anything new, so let's move on. Six Flags New England, I do feel like Quantum Accelerator will open this year. I don't think it's gonna get delayed. When I went there, the coaster was all complete. They had the train, so I do feel like they will open the coaster. I'm not sure what exact date they're opening it, but I do think they will open it. Now, I don't think this coaster is the best for New England. I feel like it would have been better if they removed Goliath and Flashback and made a giant launch coaster, but regardless, I'm glad they're getting some form of a launch coaster. It's a unique coaster, so, when I went there, the coaster did look very small. Like, I get it's a family coaster, but I was kind of expecting it to be a little bigger, but hey, it's only like, what, 56 feet, so yeah, this coaster is, so I don't think this is, like, the greatest inclusion, because like, what if they close, like, Flashback? What are they gonna put there? Like another shuttle coaster? I don't know. But regardless, I think that's all New England's gonna begin this year. I don't think the park has any chance of closing at all. If the park were to close, I think it'd be in the next, like, 10 years or something. I don't know. But I think that's all we're getting from New England. No new announcements, no new coasters, no new expansion, nothing. I just think it's going to be Quantum Accelerator, and I think that will open in New England. Who knows? Maybe I'll come back to New England this year and I'll give that new coaster a shot. I mean, the park is also pretty close to me, so I could just, like, go there in one day and check it out. So maybe I will do that. Now, for my next closest Six Flags park, it's actually Laurent, which is actually a little interesting, like, how is that, like, the closest, how is that closer to me than Great Adventure? I don't know, but, Laurent, I do feel like I don't think it's gonna get any new coasters. I do feel like it has a chance of being sold off, though. I don't think it has as much of a chance as, like, Darien Lake or something, but I do feel like it's possible it could get sold off this year. I mean, hey, who knows how many parks they'll close. They could freaking close 10 parks this year. It could get crazy, but I just hope, but Yeah, LeBron is I just feel like if they would do anything to LeBron, they would just hold it off. I don't think it's gonna get a new coach, which is a shame too. I heard some people say it's too overhated, and other people say it's the worst Six Flags park like ever due to its terrible operations and staff. And I haven't been there, but I will definitely say the location looks absolutely beautiful. And I have kind of been thinking about going there, but I kind of been thinking about like going to like Hershey Park or back to Universal instead. So hey, who knows? But for now, I just think they're not. If they were to do anything with LeBron, it would just be them closing the park or sold it off. So, yeah. Now, this one is interesting for me personally because I want to talk about Six Flags Great Adventure here. Now, look at the layout. This is the layout for the replacement of King Ka. Now, does this look like it's not a shuttle coaster? Because it looks like a shuttle coaster to me. Because this layout right here, it looks like it exactly matches that mock extreme spin and tower coaster that has been rumored to be the replacement of King Ka. And unfortunately, I do think it will be the replacement. I think this is a terrible choice for Great Adventure. Like, this is actually considered like the most hated coaster in the whole world, even though it hasn't even been announced or even built yet. And I think it's a terrible move for Great Adventure personally. Nobody likes this decision for Great Adventure, and this is a shuttle coaster too. And since this is gonna be an extremely extremely unique model, I just feel like this is gonna give them more problems. Like they closed King Ka because they kept having to repair the thing and spending money to fix it. But for this thing, I feel like they're gonna spend even more money on this thing because this thing looks like I don't think any park has opened a coaster like this before. And I just think this is a terrible choice because it's going to cost them more money. No one's going to like it. And I don't know. I just think this is a bad choice for Great Adventure. It's a shame too. I love Great Adventure, and I want Great Adventure to continue to be an amazing park. Great Adventure is my personal favorite park I've ever been to outside of Universal, and and stuff. It's kind of close between Busch Gardens Tampa and Six Flags Great Adventure. But I'd say Six Flags Great Adventure is a little more like complete-ish. Well, now it's definitely not complete without King Ka, but you know. But I just don't want this to be the replacement for King Ka. I just feel like this is a terrible decision, terrible direction to go to, and I've heard some people say the coaster will be 375 feet tall, which is just an unfortunate downgrade from King Ka. Like 375 feet, I mean that's high, but King Ka was like 100 feet taller. It was like 456 feet. So that's just I don't know. That's just a terrible choice in my opinion. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this will be some form of a different coaster. But I feel like this will most likely be the replacement. Next is Dorney Park. I don't think anything major will happen to this park. I could see Possessed closing because those model of coasters are closing quite a bit. So maybe I could see them announcing Possessed will be closing, but outside of that, I don't think nothing's gonna happen to Dorney Park. Not really, anyways. Next up is King's Dominion. Now, I do think King's Dominion will announce some form of new coaster, and I heard their next coaster could be very good. King's Dominion is a park where a lot of things could happen to it. They could open a bunch of new rides. I mean, it is one of their bigger parks. I do feel like the bigger parks are going to get the most investment this year. And King's Dominion is definitely one of their most popular parks. Like Intimidator 305 just got rethemed and all that stuff. And I just feel like I feel like anything could happen at King's Island. I mean, King's Dominion, not King's Island. I get the two parks confused sometimes. They just got a brand new coaster this year that replaced Volcano the Great Blast coaster. And unfortunately, it just turned out to be a choker clone. Maybe Flight of Fear could close, since I know they have a lot of problems with that coaster. And those models are closing. Like the Choker, Shanks just closed at Six Flags America. So I just feel it. So I mean, anything could happen at Kane's Dominion. Oh, so before we move on to some other parks, I just want to talk about Six Flags America because the park just closed way back in November 2nd. It's last year, 2025, and the big question is, do I think any rides could be safe at Six Flags America? Maybe some flat rides. I will say that. Maybe some flat rides could reopen at some other parks. And I'm talking about the brand new flat ride they just opened in 2024. I feel like that one could be safe and maybe a few others. I do feel like most of the flat rides will get closed because most of them are older. So I do feel like not many of them will make it out, but I do feel like they could reopen in a few other, like they could relocate in some other parks. But in terms of roller coasters, I do think none of them are gonna be safe. I feel like they're all the coasters there. All of them are older. I think the last one opened in like the like early 2010s or something. I think their newest one was like, what was their newest coaster? I can't remember. I haven't talked about theme parks in a while. I've been losing my knowledge lately. I've been playing too much Mortal Kombat lately. But anyways, yeah. Uh, yeah. I just don't feel like any coaster is gonna be safe, which is a shame too. Like the park looks like it had some really good coasters, like Superman Ride of Steel. It doesn't like I heard it wasn't as good as like Superman Ride at Six Flags New England, but I still heard it was a cool coaster. But it looks like I don't think that coaster's making it. Wild One's not making it. I just don't feel like any coaster is gonna be safe. I do feel like all of them are. They're gonna demolish all of them. I feel like they're all just gonna get demolished along with the park. So it's sad too. I was hoping at least one of the coasters were gonna be safe. I mean, who knows? Maybe we could get lucky and one of the coasters could get relocated to another park. I just don't think that will happen though. We haven't gotten any announcement of one of their coasters moving yet. I just don't feel like it will happen. I don't think they're gonna be safe. I think they will get demolished with the rest of the park, and it's very sad. So, yeah. Now the next park is Cedar Point. Now, I don't think Cedar Point will get any new rides in 2026, but I do think they'll announce some flat rides coming in 2027. Cedar Point does need some flat rides and stuff, and maybe they'll even build a new kids section. Who knows? I do feel like Cedar Point could benefit from more flat rides. I feel like I feel like they don't have enough flat rides to balance out the coasters. So I feel like they could open a new kids section, open a bunch of flat rides there. Maybe they can just open some flat rides like around the park. But I do think we'll get a flat ride pack in 2027. I feel like that's very possible. And then we'll get a new coaster sometime between 2028 and 2029. Next up is Kane's Island. Kane's Island is another park that could happen. Like anything could happen at the park. I know, like, they're building some new roller coaster. And I think that coaster's gonna be opening in 2027. And any ride could also close too. I mean, they also have a Flight of Fear coaster that could close. Like, if they choose to close Flight of Fear, they probably close at both parks at the same time, since they're like the exact same coaster. Kings Island is definitely one of their bigger parks, so anything could happen at that park. I do feel like 2026 will be a successful year for all of the big parks. Probably outside of Six Flags Great Adventure, because that park, well, it's in an interesting spot to say the least. Then we have Six Flags Over Texas. So we got an announcement of the new Giga Dive coaster named Tormenta Rampage and Run. And I think this is a really good addition to the park. It's now Texas' tallest coaster at 309 feet, and I think it's very cool to get our first 300-foot dive coaster, at least here in America. I'm not sure if there's another one in, like, a different country, but I don't think so. I think this is a great addition to the park. I know dive coasters tend to get a little mixed bag, but looking down 309 feet, it's just going to be absolutely insane on a dive coaster. That's going to be horrifying as heck. Six Flags Fiesta Texas, I think that's how you pronounce it. I mean, Could anything happen at the park? I don't really know much about what's going on at the park. If there's anything going on at the park, please let me know in the comments. But, I mean, maybe new ride announcement, maybe new flat ride, maybe new coaster. I know they're working. I think maybe. I'm not really sure what could happen at Fiesta, Texas. I don't think anything crazy will happen to Fiesta, Texas. It's one of their biggest parks, so maybe some new announcement, but who knows? I don't think anything too crazy will happen, but hey, maybe, who knows? Now we have Six Flags Great America, and I do think we'll get that Six Flags Great America Giga Coaster announced. I think this is an absolute great addition to Six Flags Great America based on what I've seen in the park. It looks like the park could really use one. This is considered mostly the best Six Flags park, either that or Magic Mountain. But I do think Great America will get that Giga we've all been waiting for around 2027, and we actually did just get some way out reviewed. Here's the blueprint right here. But yeah, I really do think this is a great addition. I do think most likely that will be their next coaster, the Giant Giga. And see, this is how you do it, Six Flags Great Adventure. You should have gave us like a 400-foot Giga instead of the mock spinning tower piece of shit garbage. Learn your lesson, Six Flags Great Adventure. Now let's move on to Michigan's Adventure. Honestly, I think if they were gonna do anything with the park, they would just close it. This park is just kinda... It's considered the worst Cedar Fair park, maybe even the worst Six Flags park. This park is just not been getting anything in the past years. How long it's been since they got a new ride again? 12 years? Yeah, I don't think this park is sticking around much longer. I think they will close other parks first, and then they will close Michigan's Adventure. But hey, I could be completely wrong. Next up is Six Flags Over Georgia. I don't think anything crazy will happen to the park this year. They could announce anything, but I don't think nothing too major is going to happen in the park. So I think the park is just going to stay the same as it is this year. So I think it's going to continue to stay as a successful park. So I think that's what's going to end up happening. Next up is Canada's Wonderland. They did just open a new coaster this year. And I heard the new coaster's fair. It's awesome. Canada's Wonderland is definitely one of the parks I want to go to next, because the park looks very awesome, and it definitely looks much better with that launch coaster. But I don't think it's gonna get anything announced. I don't think the park's gonna get anything new. Maybe an announcement for a future coaster or something. But they did just open a brand new coaster, so I don't think nothing crazy will happen at Canada's Wonderland. So yeah. Next up is St. Louis. I feel like if they did anything with this park, they just sold it off. I don't think they're gonna really do anything with the park, which is kind of a shame. They do have a lot of space down near the parking lot to build a brand new coaster, so they could build a parking lot coaster. But honestly, I just don't think they're gonna do anything with the park. I don't think we're gonna get a boss RMC or nothing like that. I just think they're probably just gonna close the park if they were to do anything with it. It doesn't seem like a popular park. It doesn't seem like me making them too much money. So why would they keep it? Right? So I just feel like they're gonna close the park eventually. I don't think nothing good is gonna happen to the park really. I don't think they're gonna really do anything to it. So I just feel like the park is just gonna close. So yeah. Next up is Carowinds. Now, I don't know too much that's going to happen in this park either, but I bet they will open some new ride in the next year or two. I do feel like they will announce something, a new coaster, new flat ride, something like that. Maybe even a little expansion, maybe some rethemes. Who knows what could happen at this park. Another very big Cedar Fair park, so I think they will do something to the park this year. Or at least announce something they're going to do to the park in 2027. So I do feel like that will most likely happen. Now we're on to the final few parks. Now this is where things get interesting. Let's start off with Six Flags Magic Mountain. Now we know that Six Flags Magic Mountain is getting a brand new coaster in 2027. Here's the layout. Even though it hasn't been announced, this is most likely to be Six Flags Magic Mountain next coaster, a glider coaster, which is basically, I believe, it's basically like a Superman Ultimate Flight coaster. So I think this is a great addition for the park, and I heard people saying it's going to be a top 5 coaster, and I wouldn't be shocked. It looks like a very good coaster. I have a lot of faith in Six Flags Magic Mountain. I feel like they're going to keep investing in this park for years. This park has shit tons of coasters. They just closed Superman Escape from Krypton this year, which, I think was a good choice. It looked like the coaster wasn't anything too special. It looked cool looking, but it kind of looked like it kind of sucked. So, but I feel like this park, deserves all the faith it gets. I heard the park's awesome, and I would love to go there someday. Now we have Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Now, I don't know about this park. I feel like... Do I think this park has a high chance of closing in 2026? No. Do I think it has a high chance of closing in 2027 or 2028? Possibly. I think this park could close. And what sucks too, because the park looks super cool. Like, the park itself just looks absolutely gorgeous in my opinion, even if the coasters look a little cluttered together. But the animals look awesome. I love how this park's got a unique zoo area. Like, it looks like they just don't have much space to expand, and I don't know. I don't think they're gonna do anything to the park this year, but I am a little concerned for it in the next few years. I think they're gonna close some other parks first, and then this one could be next. So I am a little concerned for Discovery Kingdom. And finally, to end things off, we have Knott's Berry Farm. Now, this is another very popular park. Do I think anything's gonna happen to it in 2026? I feel like the only thing that could happen is maybe close an accelerator. Maybe they will close that ride. But honestly, I don't think it has a high chance of closing this year, but I could definitely see it closing. It is a problematic coaster. They have Top Thrill 2 now. It's just, I don't think they're going to keep it for much longer. So, it could close in 2026. Maybe it wouldn't. Maybe it will not, though. Maybe it will stick around for more years to come. But outside of that, I don't think the park's gonna get too many crazy new things. I mean, maybe they could announce some new flat ride, but maybe that's about it. Yeah. Also, I want to quickly mention something. So when I was talking about Kings Island, I kind of forgot to mention two things. So one, I heard people saying the park has a high chance of closing Inferno and Condo Falls, which I think it's Condo Falls is a walkthrough, and Inferno is basically a Goliath at Six Flags New England clone, but probably better because, well, Goliath kind of sucks, but I never been on it, but I heard it did. But anyways, yeah, I heard those two rides could close this year, and I do agree those rides could have a high chance. So yeah, I agree with that. And I did hear that Kings Island also has a chance of announcing a brand new launch coaster. It looks like the launch coasters could take storm this year, and we could begin a lot more launch coasters. And I do think Kings Island does have a high chance of getting one. So I just quickly wanted to mention that because I forgot to mention those things during the Kings Island segment. So yeah, you're welcome. But anyways, that's all I want to mention for today's video. I tried to, I thought this video was going to be shorter, but it kind of turned out, it turned out to be like my longest theme park video yet, outside of my Six Flags America video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm very excited for what's to come in 2026, so make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below what you all think, and I'll catch you on the next video tomorrow. Well, actually, I don't even have an idea for a video tomorrow. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. I'm very excited to see what Six Flags and Cedar Fair are going to do as a company next year. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.